Good to go. Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of May 22nd. We'll do quick introductions and then I will go with a few housekeeping rules for tonight. With us, we have Councillor Joelle Lemoine. Good evening. Councillor Shane Pelletier. Good evening. Our Assistant CEO, Dominic Lemoine. Good evening. Myself, Chris Ewan. Councillor Jeanine Belanger.
Good evening, everybody.
Councillor Jason Bodnarchuk. Good evening. And our junior councillor, Mireille Lemoine. This is her very last meeting tonight, so let's put some pressure on her, everyone. But she's been a great asset and we look forward for the beautiful things and amazing things she'll do in the future. But we'll try and get her involved in tonight as well. So Mireille, have fun tonight. Okay, so we're gonna go into the meeting right away. Before I start, I am going to do it a little differently. Normally I go into the housekeeping once we get to the public hearings and stuff, but we have a delegation. So I'll start with how things will work. So we're going to go into a delegation at 7:05 or after a couple items on the agenda. For the delegation, the delegate, who I believe is in front of us right now, Mr. Wilderman, he's going to be the only one speaking. I do ask for professionalism from the gallery as well as council. Focus is on Mr. Wilderman and the delegation. And then same for the public hearing. Please, if you're here for any public hearings tonight, I do ask that you focus your attention at the chair and we will focus our attention to the person speaking at that time. I will give the rules for the public hearings once we get into that. Without further ado, we'll start the meeting. Item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier. Comments or questions before we open the meeting? Call for the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine. Thank you. Any questions? We're good with going as is with the agenda, council?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger. Thank you.
Okay. So the last meeting was on May 7th and we had a delegation from the RCMP, as well as we also entered into a contribution agreement with for the IBC Main Street, and that project is well underway at this point in time. We also passed a resolution for the St. Rat River Watershed District for the new District 5 representative, and then also a resolution for the OMBM contribution of $11,000 for supporting the labor market.
Comments from council, questions, edits? So now I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Item number 4, committee reports and minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine. Thank you.
We received one report from Councillor Pelletier, so hopefully you've had a chance to review it for the Red Wine Watershed District and Capital Planning Region. So if you have any questions, please direct them to me.
Perfect. Thank you. Council, any comments, questions? No. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
We've got 2 batches, batch 18653 in the amount of $985 and batch 18684 in the amount of $1,337. And that one there is for Sandy Gad Arena. I think they're removing a pole there. Otherwise, no concerns.
Perfect. Thank you. Council, comments, questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
This one here, we do have 3 batches, batch 18671 in the amount of $14,346, batch 18674 in the amount of $456,576, and batch 18679, it's an EFT in the amount of $354. There was a summary provided for all of you. Hopefully you've had a chance to review.
Council, any comments or questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 5.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Okay, so we had 2 payrolls being approved here, number 9 and number 10. A little bit of overtime on both. For number 10, there was one employee that's been working on the gravel program as well as the IBC Main Street project. So we had a little bit.
Any comments, questions? Here. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, we'll move into delegations. Item 6.1, Jim Wilderman and the residents of Marchand Road. So from delegations as chair, I've made the decision to limit it to a 10-minute delegation, and it's just for Mr. Wilderman at this time to speak on behalf of the residents of Marchand Road and the concerns that they're bringing forward. So again, from the gallery in the back, I do ask that you please just remain quiet, listen, and then if you ever want to host a delegation of your own, please submit it to Dominic or Mitch, and you're welcome to do so. But at this time, I'm only taking one from Mr. Willerman. Go ahead, Mr. Jim Willerman.
Thank you. I was told 15, so I'm going to try and do my best.
I'll give you 12 and a half.
Okay, sounds good. First of all, thank you for seeing us in a short notice. What I have is a presentation with about 16 slides explaining our present situation and possibly some solutions that may work out. Once again, I said my name is Jim Wilderman. My home is located 1155 Marchand Road, where I've lived since 1993. I would like to start by thanking you for the action taken to temporarily stop traffic pending applicants successful securing necessary permit. The silence has taken some getting used to. People can now breathe. Residents are out bicycling and walking. It's actually a change that has taken some time to get used to. This presentation is my experience of what has gone on, but through discussion with neighbors and by the support demonstrated today, they share the same or similar concerns. We all had to build up properties, some by trucked infill, some by excavation of ponds. We understand the need to elevate properties, but the elevation of acreages because of free fill is causing us to live on a truck highway. And at some point, each of us needs additional fill, which is to start and end date. And there are people present that have businesses requiring truck access. This is not the focus of the presentation. It is the truck highway. First sign, if you could back up, please. Not counted in my 12 and a half minutes. Okay, this is the sign of the beauty of our community. I'd like to focus your attention on the part that says country skies and city ties. Next slide, please. This is our country skies. Depending on wind direction, either south or north, residents cannot breathe. The dust has been significant enough that as recent as 3 weeks ago, I had to stop working in my backyard because my breathing was impaired to the point of constant coughing. Somehow this dust is getting into our homes and we don't dare open windows for the sound and dust. My grandson, who lives next door, requires a puffer, cannot be outside. And my 3 grandchildren are not allowed to play in the front yard during trucking hours. All 3 grandchildren have to be escorted to and from the school bus to ensure their safety. Next slide, please. Our city ties. We get fill and rubble from many of the large excavation projects in Winnipeg, and there's no end to it. The trucks destroy the road, including making the shoulder unstable. The constant pounding is causing the road to change along the edge into the ditches. Constant road surface repair is necessary and lasts for a very short time. Eventually, there is enough damage that driver safety is questionable. I would like to point out in this picture from my work background that pole in the background has 12,000 volts at first cross arm and 66,000 volts starting at the top cross arm. You do not want to hit it. We cannot walk or bicycle the road for fear of being hit when trucks meet each other. In addition, as the truck tires fill with dirt and mud, you can be hit by cast off. When washboards occurs, the trucks start pounding, causing vibration felt in our homes. And additionally, I personally fear for the fragile riverbank, which is across from my property. As I've shown in a previous presentation, the riverbank has failed to within 20 feet of Marchand Road. Next slide, please. Trucks and numbers. Here's some samples. Please keep in mind that 62 trucks going in and out on the same road. So we have 124 trucks past my home on April 30th and 192 on April 24th. What I do know about truckers, some will drive the speed limit, many will not. But if you stand out at the end of your driveway and hold your phone as if you're taking a movie, they will all drive the speed limit. Most pause at the Marchand Road stop sign at Red River Drive. A few actually stop. What I also know is they prefer McDonald's over Burger King. Some get the drink with the plastic lid and straw. Some drink canned drinks with an apparent preference for Pepsi. Some use napkins and they prefer Kirkland bottled water and have no preference as to where they leave it on the road. Thankfully, no beer cans. Next one, please. Mr. Sumka always states that he hauls clean fill. This is a truck identified as Sumka Trucking, driven by his partner Shelley, 3 days after he was told to stop hauling. The load is clearly concrete and the truck is heading east on the dead-end part of Marchand Road. Next slide, please. There's 3 locations where, for the purpose of clarification, I've labeled the 3 sites receiving fill as Site 1, Site 2, and Sumka Trucking. I don't know the owners of the 2 locations, so I just referred to them as Site 1 and Site 2. Next slide, please. This is the present larger area receiving fill. This Google picture shows a large pond, which is right here. This large pond was excavated to create a large area, a very high hill on the river bank. The large pond is being since filled in and additional fill is being added to elevate the site. I've used Google Maps to indicate the approximate 350 feet from river's edge, which falls under the provincial rivers and streams. Also, this location was a natural flow to the river, which has since been restricted, causing water to sit at the first curve of Marchand Road. First curve is right here, and this is the natural flow to river. The original owner attempted to secure a building permit and when denied, sold it as a buildable lot. The area presently being filled is approximately 200 by 70. If owner elevates the area by 12 feet, which is way less than his present hill, it will require 66,766 yards of fill or 6,676 tandem loads of fill, meaning trucks will pass front of our yards 13,352 times. Number 8, please. Next one. This is the mound. This is Site 1, present mound, with the center being approximately 350 feet from river's edge. So directly behind here is the river. Everything to the left was being filled in prior to the stop hauling notice being issued. Number 9, please. Next one. This is Site 2. Please note the water in the ditch here. This is being obstructed by additional fill in the lower part of the screen, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This is the newest fill location. The area presently being filled is highlighted. The area presently being elevated is approximately 100 meters by 60 meters. Like Site 1, it is extremely low area of the neighborhood, very close to the river, and will require a minimum of 12 feet of fill. Each foot of development will require approximately 240 tandems. Foot of development will require approximately 240 tandem loads of fill, and if elevated 12 will require 2,880 tandem loads of fill, meaning trucks will pass in the front of the yard 5,760 times. Next slide, please. This is Site 2 current state with approximately 4 feet of fill. Please note that the ditch is also being filled in the front. There was a drainage ditch here, which is now being filled in. At least 8 feet more to go, and that's very conservative. Typically, they put a mark on the hydropole to indicate your finished fill height. At this point, there is none. Next slide, please. This is Sumka Trucking location. Marchand Road used to Marchand used to dead end very near the river, somewhere down here. A fence restricting access is located here, right about here. What appears to be present dump site is here, over here in this lower area, with the gravel road approach here. It is well within the 300 feet to river level, requiring involvement by rivers and streams. Next slide, please. This is where Mr. Sumka has established the end of Marchand Road and started, and the start of the developed area is pictured with the river right behind. So this is the beginning of his bound here. Next slide, please. This is the elevator area indicating a shop location and route to the right taken to the dump fill and concrete. And please note that that whole area is all elevated. You'll see it in another slide. Next one, please. This is the view of the elevation from across the river and indication of proximity to water's edge. The blue line here indicates the top of the fill. You can see the top of the fill here. There does not appear to be any valid reason for elevating other than disposal. When I asked Mr. Sumka 4 years ago when he would be finished hauling, his reply was never. Recently, he indicated to a neighbor that he would continue to the day he dies. Next one, please. This is another view of the area presently built up in proximity to the river. It's very apparent that Mr. Sumka has sufficient elevation and is now treating the area as a landfill dump. But I do know that as of yesterday, it cost $92 per ton to get rid of clean fill at our dump. With a minimum of 10 tons on a tandem, more of concrete, that would be around $920 per load. I'm not sure of the dollars involved in fill disposal, but the numbers are significant. When no other options are available, in the case of Sumka Trucking, this has been going on for years. And as he said, he will never quit. Next one, please. Okay, so 1 acre is 43,560 feet. 1 acre, 1 foot elevation requires 1,613 yards. And tandem can haul 10 yards, so 161 trucks per acre per foot elevation. Properties in low areas can require 12 feet elevation easily there. So that's about 1,932 trucks for every foot of elevation of 1 acre, meaning 3,864 trucks across a front street. So here's our concern is that with this situation and the free fill, there's no limit. Lots of us live on hills there, but we have a limited footprint. With this unlimited source of fill, it goes on for acres as pictured, as I show you in the highlighted areas. You can have next slide, please. So my suggestions, and by the way, this is very near my end, so I'm within my 12.5 minutes. Property owners should obtain building permits prior to elevation of property. We don't even know if these people can build. They're building a property and they may not get a building permit. One place site has already been refused once. On-site visits to assess any property's value, scope of elevation, number of acres elevated. Sure, build your mound, but don't make 5 acres of elevation. It's just not appropriate. Assess properties for impact on natural draining. All 3 of those locations are affecting natural drain. 2 have caused backup to the point where they're pooling in summer and they're mosquito haven. There's just nowhere for that water to go because the natural flow has been eliminated. Limit trucking times to when the road is frozen, reducing road damage, eliminating dust, and letting us enjoy our yards for the summer months. So continue on a reasonable amount. Wait till the road is frozen so that it doesn't get destroyed. We've got our summer so we can enjoy it. It's really incredibly peaceful down there right now. But you can still haul to meet those demands. And each one has to be evaluated to see whether they actually really need fill or it's a disposal site. Also ensure start and end dates to eliminate hauling forever. There's no end to this. When you see the numbers and the number of trucks required, this is going to go on for years. Let's get reasonable about this and see if we can actually gain some of our road back. It's been amazing to see people walking up down the street, people bicycling. I'm sitting in my yard and it's actually quiet. It takes a real while to get used to the quiet. But the dust was incredible. If you're outside, you have to get inside. It just depends on which way the wind is blowing, I granted, but there's people on the south side of Marchand Road and north side. Depends on the day how much you get it. And many people here behind me They all back me up in what I'm saying here. I'm not alone on what I say here. So we'd really like our life back. I don't know who I have to talk to or where I have to go from here or what takes place, but we're looking for some kind of answer.
Okay, well, I can't give you an answer today, but I do appreciate, I do
I
appreciate the
understand.
presentation. There was a lot of valid information. Council, if you have any questions, you're free to ask Mr. Wildman. I will say though, Councillor Belanger does a great job relaying any information that the town or the Hamlet of Howland shares when there's a monthly or whatever the meeting schedule is. So she's doing a great job pushing and lobbying on your guys' behalf. From what I know at this point, it's just a lengthy process and there's some area that we need to figure out first. So Janine's working on it and we continue to work on this to find a solution that works for everyone. Council, do you have any comments or questions?
I might have misunderstood. Out of the 3 sites, did you say one site was capped or limited or?
No.
No, there's still
There's
3
no-
sites going. So
The one thing I would like to stress is the part about if we could at least have summer back, it would be great. And you wouldn't be doing as much maintenance of the road. Like, it was done last week and it needs to be done again. It's constant. It's really degraded with the amount of trucks going on.
Well, my promise is this right now, we have a planning meeting coming up, right? 2 weeks? So where's the public works matter? Maybe public works is next. So I will make sure it's part of the agenda items for the next public works meeting, and this will be one of the main topics of discussion for that meeting, and we will figure out the plan of action and see what we can do as council.
Thank you.
I do want to make a comment about that. Public Works has been working on a hauling permit, and so there is action going on in the background. That doesn't seem like anything's happening, but a lot of the staff is aware, and we're just trying to find the proper solution. These are great suggestions that we'll bring forward as well, and for a good discussion to try to resolve this for everybody.
I would really ask that an on-site assessment be done so you have a full appreciation of what is going on there prior to any permits being issued.
And even the fence across Marchand Road, I was just checking the map here, that is a right of way, municipal right of way, so that gate cannot be there.
Well, it's restricted drain. There's probably about half an acre of water sitting behind that, like right now.
Yeah.
We'll address that.
So we gotta look at that as well. So,
I appreciate it, Mr. Williams. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will ask anyone that's not wanting to stay, I'm gonna give a 5-minute recess here. You're free to go. And if you want to watch the rest of the council meeting. So now's your chance.
It's very exciting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
yeah, well, done, Jim.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you for a very tough job that you have. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. We are jumping into public hearings now, so I'll give a quick rundown of public hearings. The way public hearings work here are, I will read the item number, our CO or assistant CO will give a bit of a description or information about send out and information on that. And then I will open the public hearing at that time. I will ask the applicant or anyone wishing to make a presentation to speak online, on the phone, or in person. They can come up and sit there. And then they can make a little presentation to council. And then I will ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor in person, they can come speak at front. And then I will ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in person, anyone speak in favor online or on the phone. At that time, they would just unmute their microphone and turn on the video for us, and then they can begin their talking points. Then I will ask if there's anyone wishing to speak against in person, same procedure as in favor. Speak against online or on the phone, same procedure, unmute your microphone and turn on your video. And then I will do one last call, and then I will close the public hearing, and we will move into council debate. At that time, it is for council only for discussion. Council, you're not to address the public, as the public's not to address us, and you're directing all questions and comments to the chair. Without further ado, we will go to 7.1.1. B4 2024, Remy Soreng, 3460 PR 246.
So this one here is, the proposal is to vary the minimum required front yard distance from 7.5 feet to 6.5 feet for existing accessory buildings in an agricultural limited AL zone as required by subdivision file 4165238262. So this has been sent after the Planning Act, which is 300 meters of the affected property. And it was also sent to the MRPD. The MRPD, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Counselor, CAO, Assistant CEO, and the Fire Chief, as well as the applicant, the RM of Morris, the RM of Salaberry. It was also posted here at the municipal office, on the website, and via Connect.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to make a presentation?
Okay, I'm Remy, the owner of the property. All I'm trying to do is I call it my residence property from the remainder of the lot, which is the farm, in the event that most likely I'll be selling the farm at one point in the future, and I would like to keep the residence beside the river, and it's 11 acres to live there as long as I possibly can. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Great name, Remy. I appreciate that. It's my new son's name.
Not too many of them.
Yeah. Council, do you have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
There was mention, it'll come up there, dedication fee there to be deferred, but.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk
We'll
about
talk about
that
that
after.
later.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person? Anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Anything received in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against in person? Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against? Final comments, any questions, comments from the gallery? Speaking in favor, against, online, on the phone, or in person? So now I'll close the public hearing at 7:30. Sorry, I opened the public hearing at 7:24. Do I have a mover? Boulanger, second, Councillor Bondarchuk.
So therefore be it resolved that variation application number V4 2024 is approved with the following conditions. One, dedication fees are deferred until such time that the residual property is developed or sold.
Perfect, that clarifies that question.
Yes, thank you.
Council, any comments or questions?
None here.
For the question, all those in favor? Opposed, none, that is carried, thank you. You guys are free to go unless you want to stay for the rest of the show, or you, Remy. Yeah. It's not always that easy. though.
Don't get comfortable. Get out before I change my mind. Thank you.
7.1.2 V3 2024 A Clement Farms Limited, 724 Batoche Way.
This one here is to propose to vary the minimum site area requirement for a farm implement service building from 5 acres to 2.3 acres in an industrial agricultural MA zone. Again, this was sent as per the Planning Act, 300 meters from the affected property, including the MRPD, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Counselors, CAO, Assistant CEO, Fire Chief. It was posted at Case and St. Agat, as well as on site, and the municipal board, municipal website, and Connect.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing at 7:32. Is there anyone wishing to make a presentation? Come on up, stranger. Just name for the record, Mr.
Sean Crew.
That's right.
I'm the president of the St. Agatha Community Development, Inc. as well. I also wear the hat of chairman of the Lake Industrial Park, Real Park. I just wanted to appear in support of Mr. Clement's application for a variance. One of the things that I think is important to note is when you're looking at the zoning applications, there's, I think, 44 different types of businesses, and you don't always fall right into a pigeonhole. And so it's I think it's unfortunate that we're having to have a variance for reducing the 5 acres, because I mean, really, he's going to operate on 2.5 acres on this particular site. And zoning rules are zoning rules, but he's got a farm business. He's got land spread across the province, and this will be a business he's operating in a 6,400 square foot metal clad building. We're certainly excited to have him come into the industrial park, and Lord knows we are always looking to sell land there. So we're 100% in favor of his application for the variance.
Very welcome. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Crew?
Just the one question. So obviously, you know what he's doing there, and you mentioned that it's a variety in the whole business park. You're confident this fits?
I think it's a good fit.
In the whole, it's a good fit?
It's a good fit. It's we're trying to bring in businesses that make it look like something's going on in that industrial park. And I mean, outside of hemp oil and a couple other buildings, we've had some smaller locations go in, and this is 6,400 square foot buildings, a fair size. And I've always believed that activity in that park will breed more activity, and so I certainly welcome seeing any business that's a fit for us, and obviously Mr. Clement's business is a fit for what we want to see in the industrial park. So I'm thrilled to have him join us.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor in person? Officer,
I am Jerry Clement,
come on up.
owner of Great Clement Farms Limited. I don't know if you guys want a big spiel or what, or if you guys want to
Drill you with questions?
throw me some questions here.
I think
Whatever.
I'll start, and council might be able to pick up on this because I don't really remember the conversation we had at planning, but I know there was a little bit of a concern where we just want to make sure that this is a commercial area. Obviously, we want the industrial park to stay commercial. Council, correct me if I'm wrong on speaking on this, but we're not looking for this to ever change to an agricultural zone. As long as you're okay with that, I think council's okay with this proposal. But I think there were some concerns with council around the table saying, could this ever be a thought in Mr. Clement's head that it would eventually be converted over to an agricultural zone, thus changing the tax bracket on that. So this industrial park is for commercial use only. And I just really want to reiterate that because we want to protect that industrial park to commercial zoning. Correct, council? Yeah, so that's our biggest concern. But other than that, I know that you have a great business, you have a great farm. So there's nothing negative on that, just so you're aware that it's a commercial zone.
I'm fully aware of that, and we do have a shop in the RM of St. Clement's, and we are in an industrial zone.
Yeah, for sure. No, and we appreciate that. We're not looking against that. We just want to make sure that you're aware that the way that it's broken down is it stays commercial. It would never be converted to an agricultural zoning. I think that's the word I'm using there, right? So, yeah.
I would just say one thing here.
Mhm.
I mean, I have your chart here, okay? Now, I see there's been a couple amendments through the years. And I would suggest that there would be like another amendment done in a case like mine. You take like H&M Farms, Penners, out of south of Plum Coulee, Manitoba. They did the same thing as I did about 10 years ago at Altona. They chose to put up their shop and offices, and they even have, I'm not quite sure, but they probably have put up about 500,000 bushel grain bins
Right.
there, and their dryer as well.
Right.
And another outfit that has done the same is WJ Siemens Farming Corporation. They've done the same thing in Winkler.
In the industrial.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
They have.
Yeah.
They have. So, you know, and in my case here, when I started looking at Senegat, I talked to Tanya Waddell, which was your planning person in the day. Now, I guess, I don't know, I would kind of think that she really didn't know what I was talking about and what our intent was in doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was no talking about, you know, let's say what you've put me under currently is that farm implement manufacturing sales and service. That is not what I fall under.
Interesting.
Definitely,
Right.
you know, but as currently, that's what you put me under,
That's what they use.
which I think is totally wrong.
So what, just curious, more for my own sake, what would you think would be the item you would be under and you would fall under?
Well, I would, you know, personally here, I would go with like a farm that is doing exactly what I want to do, put up a shop.
Yeah, see, I think that's where council is staying back from. Again, council, stop me please if I'm speaking. I think council's trying to veer away from that in industrial zones. We want to see business and commercial use in those parks for tax purposes. The more tax revenue we bring in through commercial, is the more opportunities we can give for our residents and anything in their shops. So again, that's why we probably don't have something like that in the zoning, and that's why we would like to maintain that specific use for what you're looking for best fit.
But let's say in the future, there may be someone else coming like myself, and you just might scare them away.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the risk, I'm as mayor willing to take during my term.
Yeah, because like, you know, there's certain things that today, if you've been farming for a long time, some of our, like my existing yard in Morris, we can't accommodate a shop like this. We don't have room.
Yeah.
And my son-in-law that I farm with, they're in the same boat. They're at Glenlee.
Right.
Okay, so this is why we're choosing to go this route. And you have to also consider when you're going to put up a building like this, you have to also consider flood.
Yeah.
At least for inside the dike. You know, we got caught in 1997. We had our equipment sitting east of Morris, our seeding equipment. The flood rolled around. We had intentions of servicing our equipment, getting it ready for seeding. And it ended up, the water got so high that we couldn't make it to our farm. Okay, and we've got 1,500 acres of land at Kane, Manitoba, out of the flood zone, and we couldn't make it there. We had to wait for the water to recede and go around by Emerson to get to our land to seed, and we stayed a week in Winkler. Okay, now in the same situation, based out of Senegat, if it ever happens again, we can take off and go to Brunkill over to Sperling and over to Kane to get that land seeded. You know, so, you know, we really studied, you know, the reason why we should be, you know, locating in the industrial park in Senegat.
No, I appreciate that. It's good information for us, and going forward, I think maybe council needs to look at opportunities with maybe next steps.
And then, you know, another thing is, on some of our, well, on our farms, we're not close to natural gas. Okay, so like, you know, in the future, we may want to set up a dryer there at the property at Senegat because we're close to natural gas. You know, so there's all kinds of, you know, different reasons. You know, so.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Council, any other questions or comments?
Good comments. Those are good examples. But my dream, Sean's, I like ag transformation, trucking, logistics, everything. That's kind of what my personal view of the industrial park would be. I envision this, and also as son-in-law, who's also in our municipality, they run large operations. And yeah, I would love to see at one time or another, if they're running grain dryers, then you have a business, grain, whatever, doing it, servicing for others, shipping, and then rail access. Anyways, I don't want to,
Yeah.
that's not maybe not your dream, but it could grow to that. And I think the industrial park is a well.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received? Last call. Anyone wishing to make final comments, speak in favor, against, in person, online, or on the phone? I will close the public hearing at 7:43 PM. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bondarchuk, second. Councilor Lemoyne.
Therefore, be it resolved that variation application V3 2024 is approved with the following conditions. 1, applicant must obtain a building permit from the Armor Reach Out office for the proposed building. 2, applicant must submit building plans. And 3, drainage shall not affect neighboring properties.
Thank you. Council, open up for debate discussion. Anyone making comments, questions?
Just cleared up a lot from our planning meeting, so it's good. Good presentations, yeah.
The drainage issue and then the accessory road there was already talked about it publicly, so they seem okay with that too.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. Thank you very much. If you guys want to watch me do my thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Okay, moving on to 7.2.1 C7 2024, Michael Allison, 374 Lamoureux Road.
This proposal is to allow a home-based business in a residential general 8,000 RG8 zone, consisting of a home office for administrative purposes for a contracting business. Again, this was sent through the Planning Act, which is 100 meters of the affected property, as well as MRPD, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Councillor, CEO, Assistant CEO, Fire Chief, on site, as well as the IDC Country Store, the bulletin board here at the municipal office, municipal website, and net.
We'll open the public hearing at 7:45 PM. Is there anyone wishing to make any presentation? Come on up.
Going from a completely full room down here.
Next to the, I can call the count if you want. Closing tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Right? You're like, good evening. My name is Matt Wheeler, Downfield Consulting. I live in 510 Gordon Street in Steinbach. A little bit of a bylaw enthusiast, but I was retained by Mike Allison to help support. I met him on April the 4th. And my purpose was he had a previous business in the past, but he needed to have it revived. And so just to give context, when I submitted his information off to the Manitoba Companies Office, part of the conditions were to get his business back into compliance. So that was filing some annual returns, doing additional documentation. And another condition that the Manitoba Companies Office put on top of that was they wanted to see a letter in good standing from home jurisdiction affirming that he could do the business that he was actually filing to revive. So I had conversations back and forth with the company's office. So they so graciously said, get back to us on at a later date, because the earliest that the conditional use hearing could be heard was today. But yeah, it's good to hear that the province of Manitoba greatly cares about your opinion. Right? And so ultimately, the hope is that he'll operate administratively out of his house. It's just a regular residence. I think the thing that's unique about the property is that he's got a double attached garage and a double detached garage. So there's like kind of ample storage. It's an exterior siding business, windows, doors. So I envisioned him doing a lot more administration. I mean, essentially he wants to use that civic address for mailing so that the company's office can actually mail his corporate documents to his house. But I mean, it's an exterior cladding business, right? And he's got, theoretically 4 garage doors. My understanding is from Mike is that he does want to have a commercial location at a future date. This is his house. This is where he lives. So, using his laptop and having a home office to administer out of, that's the intent. The hope is that we would gain a letter of good standing stating that he can operate a home-based business out of that location. And then we'd like to supply to the Manitoba Companies Office for Extra Edge Enterprises Corporation or Corp, period. So Mike is a go-getter. I don't know if anybody knows Mike extremely well. Mike's strength is not administration. And so through a friend, they recommended that I assist with that. And it was a pleasant surprise working. It was very smooth with the Manitoba Companies Office. So yeah. So April 4th, I met him and he was revived on April 23rd.
Better than some doctor's rates.
I think they should come up with different terminologies than revived. But whatever.
Any questions from council?
I guess I have the question. This is, like you said, just basically administration. So there's not going to be people coming and going. There's not trucks parked on, because that's right in front of the high school. People park on there.
Yeah, my understanding from to try to divide it into 2 issues, there's no question that he's going to do a lot of administrative process from his house. Like a lot of it's electronic on laptop. So there's an estimating component that's normally done on a laptop inside a home-based, like in his office. Invoicing, processing, all of that's inside. So I don't see clients or customers coming in and out like a commerce business. My concern from the outside would just be making sure he's respectful of neighbors. Obviously, he'll have vehicles that are parked in his yard, a truck and like personal vehicles. But I could see like a material trailer that's enclosed where the materials would be inside the trailer. I don't believe there'd be any unsightly materials just strewn about the yard. But, the purpose is an administrative business inside the home. But, depending on what council would say, conditions would be, please don't leave your materials within eyesight distance of neighbors. I don't think that's the intent, but comfortable if that would be a condition of.
Council, anything else?
I'm disappointed the mayor of Villashane didn't show up today.
I was waiting for someone to say.
Mike believes he's the mayor of Villashane. This is the joke or this is the comic?
I saw
I
it was.
have 4 photos. He's got a trailer terribly stuck in Winnipeg. Like literally, it sunk right after a sidewalk. So I think if he could be here, he would want to be here, but.
I saw the mess he was in today.
Yeah, he sent you the photos too? Yeah, okay.
Okay, my only other concern or question was, I think council did see Google photos of trailers parked in front of his house on municipal.
On the street,
Yeah, so that would
Okay.
probably be a condition that it was to stay inside of the lot.
like on the yard.
Yeah.
Is there a sidewalk at the, that goes across?
Behind his house.
It's behind us.
Okay. I think there's an ability to park that trailer closer to the attached garage,
Yeah.
right? And keep everything on the driveway.
I think that was the only thing.
I know that when I've gone to his house, I parked on the municipal road, so like,
Yeah.
I could also probably park on his driveway.
Well, parking on the road's fine. I think it's just storage of the trailer because the
Okay.
photo that we have actually is a disconnected trailer
Yeah,
in front of his house, right? And I think we have a 12-hour bylaw where you can't be on
fair.
the right.
Overnight.
Oh, it's an overnight bylaw. You can't be parked overnight with a trailer on the road, so.
Another question of council, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If the conditional use is approved, is it actually attached to the civic address of the property? Is that then approved in perpetuity? And if like this is not Mike's intent, but like, if he was to sell that property and somebody wanted to run a home-based business out of that, it's approved because it's approved for the civic address? Does that sound right?
That's how we understand it.
Yeah, it has to be the same use, but.
Yeah,
the
same-
conditional
yeah,
use
right.
is property.
Same business.
So,
Well, yeah, home business for administrative purposes, so a home office essentially, right?
okay, so, fun, just with bylaws. I live and reside and work within the city of Steinbach. Business called Downfield Consulting. The bylaws that we have, 2100 with zoning, allows administration to categorize people into 3 different groups. Like business tax, where we actually have everybody licensed and pay into it every year. I think this year was $155,000 that was accumulated through that process. Home-based business licenses, which is a $100 application, but rather than going through a council meeting, administration can review. They really don't want like hairdressers, massage therapists, laser, like that, the personal services happening at home. It's quite awkward and can really create an issue. So they want those reviewed, but it gets reviewed through administration. And then the third would be a non-resident license, meaning you live in the arm of LeBroker, you want to do business in Steinbach, you pay a $300 fee. But all 3 of those applications are actually reviewed internally through administration. Nothing wrong with showing up at council for conditional use. But when I was like, what, conditional use? Then I thought of that potentially being attached at the civic address in perpetuity. And I'm like, ugh. Like, it would almost be better to just sort of have some sort of like annual licensing. Not that you want to keep charging a regular annual fee for whatever that looks like, but Downfield Consulting is a home-based business. I pay $100 a year and I just renew it every year.
Yeah.
And the administrative process is a little bit easier, right? And was it tennis, right? Tennis was great. Right. And I think if it's relatively simple and there's conditions attached to it, like maybe it could move to administration versus council, but
I appreciate that comment for sure.
Right?
Something that council can.
it could just be a simple amendment. Bylaw 2100 is the framework. I think it's 157 pages with the city.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a geek. My home-based business license is #1 for 2024. I really jumped on the renewal process. this year. Wanted to be #1. I got it. Yeah.
That's fine. No, I appreciate that for sure. Definitely would save council time for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else from council? Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against? Final call, in favor, in person, in favor, against, in person, online, on the phone, and general comments or questions. I'll close the public hearing at 7:54 PM. Do I have a mover? Councilor Pelletier, second. Councilor Bodarchuk, thank you.
Therefore, it be resolved that conditional use C7 2024 is approved with the following conditions: no parking on Nunsville Road. 2, any signage shall comply with the municipal zoning bylaw 9/2019 part 11. Free space devoted to the business must not exceed 20% of the total floor area of the primary dwelling or 300 square feet, whichever is the lesser. And 4, applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you, council. Comments, questions, or not for debate? Councilor one.
So the no parking on Namuru in respect to our.
I would say it would have to do with the business itself,
Yeah.
like if he was to bring in clients for any reason.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
yeah,
park
no,
on the
that
street.
is- okay.
Yeah, we do that for every
Mm.
one of them. Yeah, yeah. Anything else from council?
Nothing there.
Councilor, junior council meeting. What are your thoughts on home operated businesses in municipalities?
It's good. It brings like a business to the municipality, just like people to like know the municipality too, like just like we get the energy from it, especially since it's so close to the high school, like just that location for the business too, it's like it brings people in and it's like, oh, this is a nice community. And bring more people in the future to like move there and things like that.
Excellent.
It's good.
Good answer. I'll be back to you. Okay, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you very much.
Just a quick question. He could engage Tanis to sign.
She'll reach out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too. Okay, moving on, 7.2.2 CA 2024, Russell Lowen and Catherine Mitchell Lowen, Andrew Chuck Road. Sorry.
The proposal is to allow a single-family dwelling in an agricultural limited zone. Again, it was as per the Planning Act, which is 300 meters, and sent to all the same as previous.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I mean, you don't have to read them all. Okay, I will open the public hearing at 7:57 PM. Is there anyone wishing to make a presentation?
I'm Russell.
Come on up.
Okay.
Hey.
We built a home in about 12 years ago on Andrew Chuck Road in the arm of Richard Houghton. And at that time, wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life and started vegetable farm. You may have seen my red and yellow grain elevator parked at the corner from time to time. I'm selling vegetables there and at other places. And so the farm has grown and we decided to have another location to move it out of my wife's garage. And not that it's going to be a business, but it's going to, the farm, the truck and the tractor can park in there. And then to have also a little residence for us down the road as a bit of a retirement place. That way we free up our home for one of our kids to move into and then we would live there. That's the idea.
Perfect. Council, any comments or questions?
I'm just looking at the photo, so the proposed site, looks like it was an old, was that the garden event? It looks like dirt area.
So 2 years ago, I had a dugout built
Okay, yeah.
in the field, which is, you might, I don't think it's on this picture, but it's about eighth of a mile from that tree line on the east side. And that dirt was moved onto this area to raise it. We're in a flood zone, so we had to have
Okay,
a
okay.
raised pad to build on. So
Okay, so it's already, okay, cool.
it is raised, right? And it is
Okay.
based on flood levels. Even they added 1 foot, I think, since that, but I had a little extra on there, so.
Yeah, it was just an aerial view, I'm just,
Yeah.
okay, so the elevations, there. Thanks.
Anything else from council?
Learned a minium.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plans to subdivide at a later date, or are you looking to just keep it in one section?
So we have 2 river lots, as I think you see there. And we're currently, our house is on the one, which is the wider frontage. And then this one is going to be built on the narrower river lot. We've talked about it in the past, and this was actually something recommended or suggested by your former, before, was it Tanis?
Tanya,
Or Tanya, before she was there, just that woman, I forget her name now, she suggested.
Sorry, Tanya was the one that was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was, she said, maybe you want to subdivide that so that you get that farm up. We haven't really thought that far. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I guess eventually if we do want to sell to one of our kids, or if we want to have our home there, we probably could at that time, but it's not in the plans right now.
Councilor Pelletier, is that good? Yeah. Anything else from council? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor in person? Anything received? Anyone online wishing to speak in favor? Anything received? Anyone wishing to speak against in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against? Last call, final questions, comments, speaking in favor in person, online, on the phone? No, I will close the public hearing at 8 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Therefore be resolved that conditional use application C8 2024 is approved with following conditions. 1, applicant obtains a building permit from the RM of Richard office. 2, submitted plans are to include detailed architectural drawings stamped by an engineer. 3, applicant is to apply for and obtain a flood elevation permit and a septic field permit from the province. 4, applicant is to provide the municipality a drainage plan / study to ensure proper drainage for the property and surrounding area so that drainage does not affect adjacent properties. And 5, applicant provides a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance and any non-compliance issues that may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you. Council debate, anything, comments, questions?
I'll probably just ask the applicant if he's interested. There's some trees available from Red Pine Watershed District.
Okay.
To the north side of this property.
I think he heard, so. Thank you, Council.
You see how that, they're currently available? I did actually make use of the ones, I planted those around my pond. And so
Nice. Okay. Anything else? I'll call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. Thank you very much. 7.2.3 C9 2024 Jeff Engel 2824 PR 200.
And this one here is to allow a single family dwelling in an agricultural limited zone. And again, and as for the planning act, which is 300 meters, and then again, same as before for the other departments.
Perfect. Thank you. Open the public hearing at 8:02 PM. Is there someone, I see Mr. Engel, I believe, is wishing to make a presentation?
Yes, this is Jeff. Can I be heard?
Yes, you're pretty quiet, but we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's an us problem. I don't think it's a you problem. Go ahead again.
Okay.
That's good.
So this is just for a house along the river, basically a place to retire and live out my days. Not much more I can say about it.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Council, do you have any comments or questions for Mr. Engel?
Just wondering if he's aware of how much traffic he has in his backyard.
Did you hear that, Mr. Engel?
You mean the deer? What do you mean?
Well, you are right next to Mennonite's Landing. And people use that riverbank extensively.
Yeah, but that's kind of a little bit far away. That's south. It's across a creek. I've been there many times cleaning up there, here and out there.
You're just confirming the location, Jeff. Just give us 1 second.
This is his property.
Say again?
We're just confirming, we're just going on our computers to look at the location. Just give us 1 second.
Okay.
No, all good. Oh, we're all good. Never mind. We were just a little bit, we were off a couple kilometers. No, we're good. We're fine. We just need a clarification of where exactly it was, but we see it now.
Just, Jeff, just to point out, like there is, again, I'm from St. Agatha, so I know the area well, and then there's kind of I want to call it a ditch there, but there's quite a distance from where your house and I believe the house was dismantled and demolished, I think, or something existing moved out of there, but so yeah, and it's well treed too, so it's nice thing.
No other questions?
No, thank you, Councilor Pelletier. Okay, no, perfect. That's it, Jeff. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online, on the phone, in person? Nothing. Anything received? Anyone wishing to speak against in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received? Last call. Any final comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 8:05 PM. Do I have a mover? Councilor Lemoine, second. Councilor Pelletier, thank you.
Therefore be it resolved that conditional use application number 9, 2024 is approved with following conditions. 1, applicant obtains a building permit from the Armed Region Office. 2, submitted plans are to include detailed architectural drawings stamped by an engineer. 3, applicant is to apply for and obtain a flood elevation permit, a septic field permit from the province. 4, applicant is to provide the municipality a drainage plan / study to ensure proper drainage for the property and surrounding area so the drainage does not affect adjacent properties. And 5, applicant provides a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues that may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you. Council comments, questions, concerns, debate?
The Crow Wing Trail goes through there, but it's not very busy. But it goes through his front yard. Well, not his yard, but in front of his yard.
Okay,
On the river, he's got to get his permits, so. Yeah.
you're good?
Yeah.
Anything else from council? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you very much, Jeff. Have a great night.
Thank you. I had one question. What's a drainage plan?
Good question. Dominic, our assistant CEO, would be happy to answer that.
No, I'm not trying to have to touch base with the planning department to see exactly what would be required.
Yeah, we'll have Tanis, our planning officer, reach out with just specifics on next steps.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
You as well. And that's it for public hearing. We will go to 9.1.1, April 2024 building permit reports. Do I have a mover? Councilor Bonner, second, Councilor One.
For the month of April 2024, we've issued 20 permits for a total value of 11.2 million. The total building permit fees was about 21,000. Comparing that to last year, we had 34 permits, so quite a bit lower, but our value is higher. The value last year was 6.7 million, so a little bit of a difference there. And then the permit fees are about pretty close to the same, 20,000. So if we're looking year to date, total permits issued is 41 versus 63 last year. The value is at about 16.5 million versus 18 million for last year. However, the permit fees are at 42,000 versus 43,000 last year.
So I see that one big permit there. Commercial building.
Mhm,
7
yeah,
million.
yeah.
Excellent. Good to see some business. Council, any comments or questions? Not here. None. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. And where are we gonna figure? We are at adjournment. Do I have a mover?
They're junior comfort in there. I don't know.
Can she?
Yeah,
move
she
it? I don't know. Again, Mireille, just so everyone hears us future when they're listening to this, we do appreciate every meeting you've been to, all the input and advice you've given us. It's always great to have a junior counselor on board, and you are a strong asset to the municipality of Ridgeshot. And we hope after your years in university in BC, you come back here and you become the next mayor, counselor, or administrator, whatever you want, but you have to choose one of those three things, and that's But seriously, enjoy life and have a great time doing everything you want to do. Perfect. I will call for I'll ask for a mover for adjournment. Councilor Lamont, second, Councilor Pelletier. Nothing else from council? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. I will close the meeting at 8:09 PM. Thank you very much and stop recording.